Sometimes life feels like a heavy storm, doesn't it? The kind where the clouds seem too dark, the winds too strong, and it feels like there's no way out. But what if I told you, right now, in the middle of whatever you're facing, you're not standing alone? There's a quiet strength, a presence so close, walking beside you, holding you steady. Even when you feel like giving up, this isn't just a fleeting thought or wishful thinking, it's a truth that's been whispered to hearts for generations. If you've ever felt like the weight of the world is too much to carry, then stay with me, because what you're about to hear could be the reminder your soul has been searching for. Life can be hard, and sometimes it feels like we're carrying a burden too heavy to bear. Challenges come in so many forms: losing someone we love, struggling to make ends meet, dealing with broken relationships, or battling with our own thoughts and emotions. These moments can leave us feeling helpless and wondering if there's any light at the end of the tunnel. It's natural to feel overwhelmed when everything seems to be falling apart, but let me tell you something important. Those feelings, those moments of pain and confusion, don't mean you are forgotten or alone. Even when it feels like no one sees your struggle, God does. He knows every tear you've cried, every worry you've carried in silence, and every sleepless night you've endured. These difficulties don't mean you've been abandoned. Instead, they are opportunities for something greater to unfold. It's in these moments of struggle that God is closest to you, even if it's hard to see right now. He is standing by, waiting for you to lean on him. You don't have to pretend to be strong all the time. It's okay to acknowledge the weight of what you're going through. God doesn't expect you to have it all figured out. He simply wants you to know that He's with you, ready to guide you step by step. Don't lose hope. The storm you're in won't last forever, and even in this moment, you are being held by hands that will never let you go. When life feels overwhelming and the struggles seem endless, it's easy to feel like you've been left to face it all alone. But here's a truth you need to hold on to. God has never left your side, not for a single moment. Even when you feel abandoned or forgotten, He is right there with you. His presence is constant, unchanging, and unwavering. This is His promise to you, not just a passing thought, but a deep, unshakable commitment. God's presence isn't based on how you feel in the moment. Feelings can be deceiving, especially when life feels heavy. Just because you can't see Him working doesn't mean He isn't there. He is like a quiet anchor, holding you steady when the waves of life feel like they're about to pull you under. His promise is not to remove every storm, but to stand with you in the middle of it, giving you the strength and peace you need to endure. Sometimes God's presence is subtle, found in the quiet moments when you take a deep breath, in the gentle encouragement of a friend, or in the unexpected comfort that comes when you're at your lowest. And at other times, it's like a flood of peace that washes over you, reminding you that you're not walking this road alone. No matter what you're going through, His promise stands: I am with you. Let those words sink deep into your heart. He hasn't forgotten you. He hasn't left you behind. He's right here, walking with you, carrying you when you feel like you can't take another step. Trust in His presence. It's the assurance that no matter how dark the road may seem, you will never walk it alone. In the midst of life's hardest moments, prayer is one of the most powerful things you can turn to. It's not just words you say or something you do out of routine. It's a lifeline, a direct connection to God. Prayer is a sacred conversation where you bring your heart to Him, just as it is, with all its worries, doubts, and struggles. You don't have to have perfect words or know exactly what to say. God isn't listening for fancy phrases. He's listening for your heart. When you pray, you open the door for God to step into your situation. It doesn't mean everything will change in an instant, but it does mean you're no longer carrying the burden alone. Prayer reminds you that you don't have to rely solely on your strength. You can lean on God's strength, which is infinitely greater. It's in prayer that we find the peace that doesn't make sense, the kind that calms your spirit even when the storm is raging. Prayer is also where we learn to trust. When you lay your concerns at God's feet, you're saying, "I believe you are bigger than my problems." It's a way of surrendering control, knowing that His plans are higher and better than anything we can imagine. And as you pray, you'll begin to feel His presence surrounding you, giving you clarity and courage for the journey ahead. No matter how small or big your need is, bring it to Him in prayer. Whether it's a silent whisper or a cry from the depths of your soul, He hears you. And the beautiful thing about prayer is that it doesn't just change your circumstances. It changes you, bringing you closer to the God who loves you more than you could ever imagine. Faith is what carries us through when life feels uncertain and the answers we seek seem far away. It's not about having everything figured out or feeling strong every single day. It's about trusting in God, even when the road ahead is unclear. Faith isn't about seeing the end of the journey. It's about believing that God is guiding your steps, even in the dark. And when you hold on to faith, you're also holding on to hope, because faith reminds you that the story isn't over yet. It's easy to feel shaken when challenges come, but faith gives you something firm to stand on. Think of faith as a bridge that connects where you are now to the promises God has for your future. Even when it feels shaky, that bridge will hold, because God is the one who built it. Every step you take, no matter how small, is a step closer to His plan for your life. Hope grows when you focus on what God has already done for you. Think about the times when things seemed impossible, yet somehow a way was made. Remember the moments when you felt weak, but you found strength to carry on. These are reminders that God hasn't failed you before, and He won't start now. His faithfulness is your foundation, and His love is your reason to keep believing. Holding on to faith and hope doesn't mean you won't face struggles or moments of doubt. It means choosing to trust God in the middle of them. Let your faith be the anchor that steadies you, and your hope the light that guides you forward. Even in the hardest times, know that you are held in the hands of a God who never lets go. Keep believing. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Life has a way of bringing us to our knees, moments when we feel too weak to carry on. But here's the beautiful truth. It's in those very moments of weakness that God's strength becomes most powerful. You don't have to pretend to be strong all the time, or carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. God never asked you to do that. Instead, He invites you to lean into His strength, a strength that never runs out, never wavers, and never fails. When you feel like you can't take another step, remember that God's strength is not like human strength. It's not limited by circumstances or exhaustion. It's a divine power that lifts you when you feel like you've hit rock bottom. And sometimes, that strength isn't about changing your situation instantly. It's about giving you the endurance to keep going, one step at a time. There's no shame in admitting your need for help. In fact, it's in those moments of surrender that God works most deeply in your life. When you say, "Lord, I can't do this on my own," you're creating space for Him to show His power in your situation. And He will, because His grace is enough, even for the hardest days. God's strength doesn't just carry you, it transforms you. It helps you see that even in your weakest moments, you are never without hope. So let go of the pressure to do it all by yourself. Trust that God is holding you, equipping you, and walking with you. In your weakness, His strength shines brightest, and with His strength, you can face anything that comes your way. You are not defeated. You are held, strengthened, and deeply loved. When life feels overwhelming and the weight of your struggles seems unbearable, the most important thing you can do is keep moving forward. Even when it feels like progress is slow, or when fear and doubt whisper that it's easier to give up, Don't stop. Moving forward isn't about having all the answers or being completely free of fear. It's about trusting God, one step at a time, and allowing Him to guide you, even when you can't see the full path ahead. God doesn't ask for perfection, He asks for perseverance. He knows your heart, your struggles, and your doubts, but He also knows the incredible strength He's placed within you. Each small step you take, whether it's offering a prayer, reading His Word, or simply getting up in the morning, is a step closer to the life He's planned for you. It may feel like progress is slow, but with God by your side, every step matters. You don't have to face the whole journey at once. Focus on today, on what God is calling you to do right now. Maybe it's reaching out for help, forgiving someone, or letting go of something that's been holding you back. Trust that God is lighting your path, even if it's just enough to take the next step. As you move forward in faith, His strength will carry you through. Remember, you're not walking this road alone. God is with you, guiding your every move, cheering you on, and holding you up when you feel like you can't go any further. So don't give up. Keep moving forward, no matter how small the steps may seem. You are stronger than you know, and with God's help, you'll overcome whatever lies ahead. In the middle of life's toughest seasons, gratitude might seem like the last thing on your mind. How can you be thankful when everything feels like it's falling apart? But here's a powerful truth. Gratitude has the ability to shift your perspective and bring light into even the darkest situations. It's not about denying the reality of your struggles. It's about choosing to focus on what's still good, what's still a blessing, and what God is still doing in your life. Gratitude is a reminder that no matter how hard life gets, there are always moments of grace to be found. It could be as simple as the breath in your lungs, the warmth of the sun on your face, or the love of someone who cares about you. These small blessings are evidence of God's presence and His continued work in your life. When you take the time to notice and thank Him for these things, it opens your heart to His peace. Practicing gratitude doesn't mean you ignore your pain or struggles. Instead, it helps you remember that even in the middle of the storm, God is providing for you and walking with you. It shifts your focus from what's missing to what you already have, and what you have is a God who loves you deeply and is working all things together for your good. Start small. Take a moment each day to name just 3 things you're grateful for. As you do, you'll begin to see how God's blessings surround you, even in ways you didn't notice before. Gratitude won't remove your problems, but it will remind you that God's goodness is bigger than them. And in that, you'll find strength, peace, and hope to keep going. Each new morning is a gift, a chance to begin again, no matter what yesterday held. Starting your day with prayer is one of the most powerful ways to align your heart and mind with God's purpose, and to invite His presence into everything you do. It's not just a ritual, it's an act of trust, a moment to say, Lord, I need you today. Walk with me, guide me, and strengthen me. Take a moment right now to focus your heart. Begin with gratitude. Thank God for giving you this day, for the breath in your lungs, for the opportunities ahead, and for the lessons from yesterday. Gratitude sets the tone for the day, reminding you of God's goodness and His faithfulness. Next, surrender your plans to Him. Lord, I don't know what this day will bring, but I trust that you do. I place everything in your hands. My worries, my decisions, my challenges. Guide my steps and let yours be done in my life. This act of surrender invites God to take the lead, giving you peace that He is in control. Finally, ask for strength and protection. Father, when I feel weak today, remind me of your strength. When I feel lost, remind me of your guidance. Protect me from fear, doubt, and anything that tries to steal my peace. Let your presence fill me and sustain me. This simple prayer is a reminder that you are not walking through the day alone. God is with you, ready to guide you, strengthen you, and help you face whatever comes your way. Step into this day with confidence, knowing that you are held in His loving hands. As you step into this day, remember this: you are never alone. Whatever challenges you face, however overwhelming life may feel, God is right there with you. His presence is constant, His love is unshakable, and His strength is made perfect in your weakness. You don't have to carry your burdens alone or have all the answers. Trust that God is guiding you, holding you, and preparing something beautiful even through the difficulties. Take with you the assurance that no matter how heavy the storm feels, it will pass. God's promises are true, and He has plans for your life that are filled with hope and purpose. Keep moving forward, step by step, with faith as your guide and prayer as your anchor. Don't let fear or doubt steal the peace God wants to give you. His love is greater than anything you are facing, and His grace is more than enough for today. Greeting. You are stronger than you think because God's strength is within you. You are more loved than you can imagine because God's love is infinite and unconditional. And you are never, ever forgotten because God has you engraved in the palm of His hand. Take a moment today to share this message with someone who might need encouragement. You never know how much a simple reminder of God's love can mean to someone who is struggling. As you go forward, carry this truth in your heart. God is standing by you, always. Walk in His peace, live in His hope, and trust in His promises. You are deeply loved and never alone. Let today be a day of faith, gratitude, and quiet strength. You've got this because He's got you.